All right, on committee reports. Public Works. Street, Public Works.
Public Works, all right. The Public Works Department has installed a sign out in front of the building, which everybody can see for 4 miles away. We didn't hit, nobody hit any gas lines or water lines, that's why it took so long to get it up. We have had some major catch basin repairs, some sewer drainage lines. We just finished one over here in front of Ted Willis's house. We have a hit list of catch basins and lines that we have to open up. I mean, we had the camera in on major streets. You'll see where there's white paint in the streets. And then up to Spruce Lane, we've been, didn't go up to Laura. Lorraine, yeah.
Is that on the hit list, Lorraine?
Lorraine's on the hit list. We got like Rose Freeman's catch basin, which has been that with a cone in it for over 2 years. We just had a sinkhole up here on Pine Hill at Frank Stitz's house. When you're coming down Pine Hill, if you knew, he lived on a corner right now of Orchard and Pine Hill. Okay, 2 houses down is his old residence. In front of his residence, Terracotta Pike Road. You guys are going to go on that. We have a major problem on Apple Way Alley. There's a retaining wall there at 214 Bluff Street. I've been up and talked with residents up there. I talked with an old member of the council here who knew the people who owned the house before the people who own it now. There have been 3 residents in it. The house originally was to Bill Jones, and he built it eons ago and put a retaining wall back there. And the party called me here last week and went and looked, and the retaining wall is falling in onto his property.
It's on borough property?
No, it is not. It's just, let me get one more
Sorry
second.
about that.
I found out that the alleys are only 12 feet wide. His retaining wall starts at 12'6". So it's on his. I thought he would be here this evening so I could tell him that the retaining wall is his responsibility. And it's 5 feet high and probably about 15 feet long, which is leaning at about a 30-degree angle into his yard.
What's the construction?
Poured concrete. And what it is doing...
It wasn't drained properly?
No. It just separated, that's all. But it's retaining the alley, Appleway Alley. So, like I said, it's not our responsibility, but if the alley starts to go away and that wall falls in, we're going to be up a creek without a paddle.
So he's waiting on the news, Henry?
Huh?
He's waiting on news.
Well, I'm going to tell, I had to find out exactly how wide the alleys were.
Right.
Anybody knew the old owners of the property, who built it and so forth. And through conversations with some of the old neighbors up there, they say that the retaining wall was built by the previous owner of the property. Now this is going back 3 owners of the property. And this is so their lot would be level. Now the lot next to it is Charlie Gollinger's. And if you go with Charlie's, you can see it runs up at about a 30-degree angle to get up. And the yard next door is flat. So that's why the retaining wall was put in. And that's why the garage at that corner is built at an angle, because they built it right to the property lines. So I will get in contact with the guy who lives there and tell him the retaining wall is going to be his responsibility. What else? As you all know, we do have a phone in to the new building, or over to the maintenance building now. Frank Stitt, Rose Freeman. Oh, we have a, down at the Sidus's, down at Harrison Street and First Street, that catch basin there. Now somewhere, we run a camera back through 100 feet, and then we hit an obstruction. So somewhere, and we went down to Enders and went to run it up, and then got up 70 feet. So between Enders, the alley, and I don't know who lives in that corner house, right there. Who? Who?
Yeah.
No, it's catty corner across from the Sidus.
Yeah.
The yellow one.
Yellow brick.
Yeah, yellow.
Yeah.
Okay. So somewhere, there's about 150 feet we can't get into.
That's a major problem.
Well, we got major problems elsewhere too, but trying to take care of that major one, because last night's rain, we had about 6 inches of mud down at that corner. Up here on Northern Avenue, we've opened a right of way to get into the grate, or into the manhole, which is down over the hill. We ran a camera in it, and the problem is from the manhole, which is down over the hill, to the one that's on Northern Avenue, where the water cascades down the guy's driveway and then out onto the street. It's plugged somewhere in between there. So we're anticipating, we want to get in, and we're going to have to dig by hand to clean that manhole out. The manhole's as big as 2 of these tables together, and about 6 feet deep. And it's filled,
Come on, Northern.
yeah, Northern, it's filled 90% of the top of gravel and mud.
And that's what's plugged up. I'm assuming that's what's plugged up.
Yeah, it's plugged up somewhere between the catch basin on the right-hand side and that catch basin on the left-hand side, somewhere in between there. But we haven't been able to get the camera down through it because of the blockage. I have a proposal that we could use CWM, which is, they have a vacuum truck, to be able to use them at a limited time, because it's very expensive. It's $250 an hour. And I talked with them today again, and they said that they can vacuum and suck the pipes out to clean them.
And that's guaranteed? I mean, we're talking about years of sediment in there.
That's it. I told them it's years and years. He said, because what they do, they have a high pressure hose that goes in with a spinning head. And then they have a sucker on the end.
Okay, all right. So it's just not a vacuum truck, it's almost a board machine vacuum truck on
And
it.
they'll suck it back into the truck. Now,
The reason why they don't guarantee is because if it's collapsed, there's nothing.
if it's collapsed, then we'll know where it's collapsed. Right now, we don't know if it's collapsed here, or
When
here.
you put the snake down through
The camera?
camera, did you bring it both sides of the
Both sides, yeah.
And then you had a spot.
We have an idea approximately where it's at.
How big is that? Like say down there by the sizes, how big a gap you got? Where it's-
300 feet. You know, we did a hole here, 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 and here to find out exactly where it's at. Because there was a small sinkhole in the guy's yard and filled it up, and it hasn't gone down since.
Yeah.
But we have so many of these street drains that are plugged with sediment. We've got to start somewhere. What I'm trying to do is pick out some of the major ones, get them done, and then go from there. I mean, we can clean catch basins out until we're blue in the face, but if we can't clean the catch basin pipe out between two, it's not going to do us any good.
And once we get this, hopefully get this remedy, did the fire department used to come with their high pressure hoses and clean out these catch basins and pipes
No.
in the past?
They did so.
I mean,
Years ago.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're
we're not
talking
these,
30 years ago.
okay, why can we do it now? I mean,
You're not gonna get as much sediment and everything that's built up in these pipes.
no, I mean, I have one side.
Oh, you want a perspective of years ahead.
Yes.
Well, it can be done years ahead.
It's a good exercise for the fire department, it, you know, gets the cuts out, I mean,
First of all,
it's
we
good
gotta
for the
get,
community, and then we're not in this for
quote unquote, first we gotta get firemen to join the fire company.
That helps, okay.
Like
That's
every
another
other fire
problem.
company around, everybody has lost men through attrition.
That is a very good idea. Once we get these catch basins clean, we gotta keep cleaning them year after
Yeah, year after
You
year.
can't let them go,
How's that prevent
clean them,
accidents?
then go back 2 years later.
Okay, all right, thanks.
But yeah, I'm sure, you know, fire
Yeah, we have.
But you have somebody who knows.
Yeah, and up here on Harrison Street, 216, there's a drain that comes off of Apple Alley through a woman's yard and down past Charlie Bollinger's. And in the middle of the yard, which we have repaired, a 10-inch break in terracotta pipe. They had had a wash bucket stuck in there so the dog or kids never went into it. But that's repaired, but we have water still coming down from the alley down to the street. And they can't go any further because the catch basins has been cleaned out, the pipes plugged. But this has been years and years of neglect, and we just can't do it all in 1 year. We can do it in successive years and then keep it up. I've been talking with Rick, and I have both sat down and set up a contingency plan for what we can do this year with this amount of money, what we can do next year with a little bit more money. But we can't use liquid fuels money on sewer drains. There's no grants available for sewer drains. I've tried everywhere, and they've all said they've taken the grant money from the sewer drains and put it to sanitary stores, which it takes precedence.
Have you talked to Rich Palillo
About what?
about getting grants from the county?
I've talked with everybody in the county.
Well, I went to the Board Association meeting last week, and he was the speaker. He said there's money for stuff like that, but you have to cross your T's and dot your I's. You just can't go in there and ask them, give me 15,000.
No, I didn't do that. I went in and asked the grant writer, Dallas, can you find me anywhere? And she was the one who's gonna have to, Dalila has to answer to her, because she is the one who writes the grants. She is the one who knows where the money is at. I went to the horse's mouth and asked there first.
But that's
And when
why,
somebody tells me there is no money available.
that's why it's
then-
important for us to go to these meetings and find out this stuff. Because there's some money out there.
Well, previous borough meeting that we went to, that PennDOT man was there, and he said the same thing, there's so
But nobody-
much available.
But nobody goes to these meetings
You
to
don't
find
know
out
how
about
to,
this
you know,
stuff.
access it. It's there.
But when I asked
Nobody
her,
help us.
when I asked for where, is there any money, I've asked the state representatives and everybody else.
No, this
They've
is.
said they've taken it from sanitary, or from dirty water on streets to sanitary, which they claim is the health hazard, and they have to rectify that first.
Do you have one particular drain in mind that you want to start with?
Yeah, with Avenue.
The
Second one would be,
300 foot
first.
clog, the only way you're gonna get on the drain is to dig it up.
You're gonna dig up the highway?
You do that, or you're gonna have to do what
Do
you.
we have the money to dig the highway up? No.
I'll give you two options if you don't finish.
Go ahead.
The first option would be to dig up, which you don't want to dig on the highway. I didn't understand it was under highway until just now. The second option would be the one you said about the vacuum.
Yeah, the vacuum.
So if it works, it's well worth the money.
Well, yeah, this is why I wanted to start with this first.
Yeah. Yeah. I think-
Then if we run into the place where it is collapsed, then we dig it up.
Yeah, I mean, there's only, you gotta do something.
Trying to go the easiest way,
One way or the other. How many feet do you figure from the catch basin to the manhole?
the one on Northern Avenue is probably about 90 feet.
90 feet. And how long do they have any estimate?
We have no idea how long it would take.
Do you have any idea how far underground it is?
Oh, it's about 8 feet down.
Well, then it can't be correct.
Oh, yes, it can be.
Think so?
Mm-hmm, it can be. These are old pipes.
Yeah.
This is, I bet that, this is tin whistle pipes now. And, you know, tin whistle only lasts for so long.
Yeah. I found a lot of the terracotta in the ground, like brand new.
But, you know, if we could start with one or two main drains, Northern Avenue first, and then down to First Street, down at Lascitus's, because it takes in 4 or 5 streets running down to his house.
Yeah.
When,
This is the price that he gave to me this afternoon.
Do you give you an idea how many feet he's cleaned per minute? Or
I
No,
see, that's
you
right.
have no
I
idea.
have no idea.
Yeah, it depends on what's in there too.
Yeah, I've had sewer trouble in Kittanning and had their sucker at one of my apartments. And what we thought was just SIH and toilet paper and everything else. Well, we ran into lard from people's houses and so forth. And it took them 8 hours to get up 70 feet. Although we didn't have to pay for it, I didn't have to pay for it, it was the borough's problem.
Yeah, but
But here-
we will.
Yes,
was it the Boros truck, they have their own truck, did they do that?
oh, they have their own truck. This is, it says right on there, trucking 2 men,
Yeah.
250.
No, I mean the borough, they don't do, they hire CWM.
No, they have their own truck. And I tried to get their truck, and there were so many if, ands, or buts to be able to get it to come up here. It wasn't worth the headaches to try to do it.
Has any councilman looked at the size of the house that's going down right now? Like Henry just said, I mean, it just swirls around there.
Mhm.
None of them.
No,
Yeah, I've seen it.
there's so many of them that have been left to go for so long, now you're trying to fix everything up all at once, and it's just an impossibility.
Repaired last year, 10 years ago.
How big of a line did you say that was up to, man, roughly?
But
But it's all
the
going
10-inch
down.
pipe.
10-inch pipe.
Mhm. And you think the one down here on First Avenue is an 8-inch pipe.
Oh, and then-
And you feel that that's probably the worst?
That's the worst one up there right now. That's the first worst one, the next worst one is down on First. But I can't see digging up the street like Swiss cheese to find anything.
You said that one on Northern, you got a 300-foot block, possibly.
No, it's about 90 feet. The one down here at the side is around 300.
Well, they stuff it, they don't get it.
You're gonna put this in form of a motion, because
I
that
would
one,
like to put it in a motion to give, either have them, you're looking at 8 times, a two, $1,600, $1,800 for a day. If we can see how it works out for one,
Yeah.
and then go, have them go, next time, go down the next one.
yeah, due to the fact that Northern is a major priority, and it's only 90 feet, that would be the first one with attack, and that would be, see how it works out.
The thing we don't know is they can go in there and it could only take them 2 hours.
Exactly.
Or it could take them 8
Well,
hours.
if it takes you 2 hours,
It is per hour, pay per hour.
Yeah.
we pay per hour, you know, but
Well, I
we
mean, 12,
anticipate
8 hours.
anticipate having it for 8 hours, but then it takes them 2 hours up there. And from there, right down to First Street, you're gonna go.
Right, yeah, I mean.
There's a contingency plan all the way around here to keep things moving.
I think it's a great idea, Jim. You know, in fact, most of these catch basins are probably just sludge. I mean, if in fact it's a big rock or it's collapsing, we're gonna have issues, but most of them are just sludge.
Well, we have one up in Pine Hill. We ran a camera through and we found a piece of terracotta pipe in it. Where did it come from? The pipe was totally clear, but we couldn't get in to take it out because it was in the middle of the guy's driveway. So we left it there. It's not an obstruction, the water flows through and we're okay.
Making a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we hire him for at least one day, to see how it all works out.
$2,000.
$2,000 this way is cheaper than digging it up and having it, say, a 3 or 4 day episode.
Well, plus you're taking the borough workers away from under you.
Now, they're doing it, you got it just right, and everybody wants their grass picked up, their limbs picked up, trash picked up, and this, everything else. We only have 3 guys, we have 1 guy for summer help, oh, I forgot to mention that. We do have a summer help guy, which is working out very nicely. So,
From job corps or what?
what?
From the
Job corps, yeah. He works very well with everybody.
I'll second that motion, Mr. President.
Second, Cliff, any questions?
The only question I would have is, do you have all of them laid out and ready to go? I mean, do they have to have the road shut down, cut it off, or move from one to the other real quick?
Well, what we'll do is we're gonna have to shut down Northern,
Yeah.
Talking Bar. Down here at Lasitis, we're in a borough, we don't have that much traffic there.
Alright. So you're gonna shut the down there?
We'll shut the river down.
Vine Hill and down at Butler Road?
No, just
One side.
to one side,
Oh, okay, alright.
just to one side. Like
Just so you
they
have proper signage, cones.
they'll have all of that, that's all.
Alright.
They probably have that.
They have that stuff too, but we'll take our own, because there will be a borough employee with them.
Any other questions? All those in favor, raise your hand. Opposed?
Good luck, Andy.
Yeah. What else?
I got something.
Go ahead.
Senate surveyed lawn.
Oh,
I see that.
And
They put pins in the ground.
yeah, they put pins
Just
in.
not